Hello, my dear ones. Today, I want to share some stories and life lessons that I've learned over these 80 years. I hope my words can touch your hearts and bring a bit of wisdom to your lives. So, sit down and let's start this journey together. The first lesson I want to share is about the importance of following your own truth. Throughout my life, I've encountered many people who tried to tell me who I should be, how I should behave, and which paths I should take. But I've learned that true happiness comes from being true to yourself. Don't be afraid to stand out, be different, and follow your dreams, even if they seem impossible to others. Authenticity is the key to a full and meaningful life. I remember when I was a child, we lived in a small village surrounded by mountains and rivers. My parents were farmers and worked hard to support our family. Every morning before the sun rose, my mother would wake me up with a gentle touch and a whisper in my ear. "Wake up, my little one, the world is waiting for you." Her words, though simple, always filled me with a sense of hope and purpose. My mother, with her quiet wisdom, taught me that each day is an opportunity to be authentic and follow your own path. During my teenage years, peer pressure and societal expectations were overwhelming. Everyone around me seemed to have a clear idea of who I should be and what I should do. "Candida, you should be more like your sister," some would say. "Candida, why don't you follow in your father's footsteps?" But deep down, I knew I had to find my own way. It wasn't easy. There were many nights when I felt lost and alone, but each challenge I faced brought me closer to my true self. Authenticity is not always appreciated by others. Sometimes, being yourself can attract criticism and rejection. I remember once, when I was 20, I decided to drop out of college to pursue my passion for painting. My parents were devastated. "Candida, you're ruining your future," they told me. But I knew I had to follow my heart. For years, I struggled to make a name for myself in the art world. There were moments of doubt and despair, but I never gave up. And in the end, my perseverance paid off. My paintings began to be recognized, and more importantly, I found an inner peace I had never experienced before. The second lesson I want to share is about acceptance. I know I'm not a perfect person. That's why I deeply appreciate those who stay by my side after knowing me for who I am. I learned that mutual acceptance is the foundation of any true relationship. Some problems, if not resolved at the root, will accompany us throughout our lives. It's important to face difficulties head-on and be honest with yourself and others. I remember when I met my husband, John. John was a kind and understanding man, but like everyone, he had his flaws. At first, it was hard for me to accept some of his quirks. Why does he always leave his socks on the floor? I wondered. But over time, I realized that true acceptance is not about changing the other person but loving them as they are. John and I had many arguments, but we always made up with a hug and a smile. We learned to accept each other with our virtues and flaws, and that acceptance strengthened our love. Acceptance also applies to oneself. For a long time, I struggled with my physical appearance. "Candida, you're too thin," they would say. "Candida, you should dress differently." But over the years, I learned to love my body as it is. True beauty comes from within, and self-acceptance is the first step to true happiness. Every scar, every wrinkle tells a story of my life, and I am proud of each one. The third lesson I want to share is about the value of solitude. When you give solitude its due value, it's hard to be enchanted by just anyone. Solitude can be a harsh teacher, but it teaches you to appreciate your own company and be selective about who you allow into your life. Maturity is not measured by the number of years lived, but by how much you've learned along the way. I remember a time in my life when I felt deeply alone. My children had moved to other cities, and John had passed away. The house, once filled with laughter and conversations, was now silent. First, solitude scared me, but over time I learned to embrace it. I began to enjoy my own thoughts, rediscover my passions, and find comfort in the silence. Solitude taught me to know myself better and to value my own company. Solitude also taught me to be more selective about the people I allow into my life. I learned that not all company is good, And it's better to be alone than surrounded by people who don't bring anything positive. Solitude gave me the strength to say no and set healthy boundaries. It taught me that the quality of relationships is more important than the quantity. The fourth lesson I want to share is about resilience. One of the most difficult lessons was learning resilience. Life can be full of challenges and difficulties, but every obstacle overcome makes us stronger. I remember once when I lost a dear person because of my actions. It was a moment of great pain but also of profound learning. We should never underestimate the power of resilience and the ability to start anew. Resilience is not something you learn overnight. It's a continuous process of growth and adaptation. I remember when my daughter, Anna, was diagnosed with a serious illness. It was a devastating blow to our family. But Anna, with her courage and determination, showed us the true meaning of resilience. Despite her challenges, she never lost hope or her smile. Her strength inspired us all to keep going, despite the difficulties. Resilience also means the ability to adapt to change. Life is full of unexpected twists, and sometimes plans don't go as expected. But instead of giving up, I learned to adapt and find new ways to achieve my goals. Resilience taught me that every failure is an opportunity to learn and grow. It taught me to see challenges as opportunities and never to give up, no matter how difficult the path. The fifth lesson I want to share is about true intimacy. True intimacy goes beyond the physical. It's about trust, respect, and a deep emotional connection. I learned that open communication and mutual respect are the foundation of any healthy relationship. Never be afraid to express your desires and needs, but do so with empathy and consideration for the other person. John and I always had an open and honest relationship. We talked about everything from our hopes and dreams to our fears and insecurities. This open communication strengthened our relationship and allowed us to build a solid foundation of trust and respect. Physical intimacy is important, but it's only part of the equation. True intimacy is built through emotional connection and mutual understanding. Intimacy also involves vulnerability. Don't be afraid to show your true feelings and emotions. Vulnerability is a sign of courage and strengthens the connection with others. I learned that being vulnerable is not a sign of weakness but of strength. It's through vulnerability that we build authentic and meaningful relationships. The sixth lesson I want to share is about balance in life. Life is a dance between work and leisure, between seriousness and fun. Finding happiness involves seeking balance between these aspects. I worked hard, but I always found time to enjoy the little joys of life. Remember, balance is the key to a full and satisfying life. In my youth, I was obsessively focused on work. I wanted to be the best at everything I did and pushed myself to the limit to achieve my goals. But over time, I realized that professional success isn't everything. It's important to find time for yourself, for family, and for the things that truly make you happy. Balance taught me to prioritize what really matters and not let work consume my life. Balance also means taking care of our physical and mental health. I learned that it's essential to take time to rest and recharge. Life can be hectic and stressful, but it's important to find moments of peace and tranquility. Meditation, exercise, and time spent in nature are wonderful ways to find that balance and maintain a healthy mind and body. My dear ones, life is a continuous learning process. The people who truly matter don't live in our houses but in our hearts. The soul is like fire, generating its own light. Never stop learning and growing. Find strength in resilience, love in compassion, and joy in seeking balance. Thank you for staying with me this far. I hope my words have touched your hearts and that you take these lessons into your lives. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Until next time, my dear ones.